This video covers shorts demand, AMC, at $116 per share, the 100 billion market value target, and more. We're starting with this. Since over 85% of trades go to dark pools, the borrow fee drops unexpectedly. The rate to borrow for AMC fell today. AMC share demand has been rising. The shares borrowed to lend have all gone up, and under normal conditions, the charge ought to rise as more shares are borrowed. After seeing it go down, especially after yesterday's video, it makes sense, and the timing is right. We discussed this yesterday. The last update on this white paper on AMC, a synthetic asset tracking real stock values, discusses the tokens used to find AMC shares, even though they don't have any. This white paper was released in early 2021 and updated on January 27, 2026. The goal was to allow institutions to find AMC shares using tokens instead of genuine shares. One of the main reasons these short sellers were able to find AMD shares, short, and pay little was this. As these white papers are still being reviewed, AMC's cost to borrow is dropping despite shares being borrowed and demand rising. The situation becomes clear. All of our earlier discussions are still happening. We're looking at how they're able to lower fees by tokenizing AMC and using it without proof of shares. Why are all of these corporations pushing for tokenization, even though some are against it due to transparency? They're starving for shares like AMC and GME. We also discussed the 85% off exchange total. He's getting anchored into dark pool again. I wish to elaborate, especially given what we see here. It looks like a ladder. The notorious short seller John Hemp says these happen in dark pools where market manipulation is a manipulation because it doesn't happen in the market. John Hampton, a notorious short seller, is renowned again for discussing his stance on shorting AMC and admitting to crimes. Only issue is, he's situated in Australia and claims to have covered AMC. Yet he keeps talking about ladder attacking and shorting AMC while claiming to have covered all his shares. It doesn't make sense, but he's always talked about it. If you look at dark pool flows by trade size, 89.1% are retail transactions, 29.2% are professional, and 23.2% are institutional. It's not retail traders' demand that's affecting these prices because we're only seeing a small amount. We're looking at experts, institutionals, and troublemakers controlling AMC prices. It also continues what we discussed before. Most dark pool orders are buy orders. This is why we don't see it rise. This rise has also increased recently. Anytime AMC has volume or upward momentum, these things happen. We witness an increase in white paper editing, lower borrowing costs while needing shares, more DART use, and ladder attacks on AMC. Whenever AMC gains momentum, we see that. Candles show the price activity in recent days. Normal technical analysis shows purchasers seek control. How buyers desire to raise prices but sellers faces. However, for AMC, we can observe that no one is selling and that it is manipulated through constant short selling. AMC's issues are also interesting during moments like this. AMC glitched to $116 per share. We've always said that institutions may be trading AMC shares at this price OTC. We suggest this because certain firms may need AMC shares urgently. They need to cover some of their positions and are willing to pay a large premium to other institutions. So they do this OTC, which has no effect on the stock price. And we've seen this happen before in terms of exchange data, which has shown what some of the trades have gone through. This is conceivable because a AMC $116 per share is equivalent to $400 per share. Based on NVIDIA's market value decline today, we've also indicated that some of these equities, especially tech and AI stocks, have been utilized as collateral to short and suppress AMC. When NVIDIA had over $5 trillion, a lot of it was borrowed as collateral to short AMC, to short GME, given that NVIDIA is down this much and at $400 per share. I wouldn't be surprised if AMC trades at 116. I've stated this. I think AMC is undervalued. It should easily reach double and treble digits. I said we should talk about this. We're also seeing SPY issues that flash the wick too. 69.01. This is intriguing because it was the 2008 crash bottom. We've discussed how the market is incredibly unstable due to everything going on. We'll discuss more about this at the end of the film, but you can see some signals of market change. AMC and GME will realize what we've discussed if the market crashes. Michael Burr also shows GME's $100 billion plan and prospective targets. We've seen Michael Burr's strong GME opinion recently. His talk about Ryan Cohen was also discussed. We've also discussed GME's plans for the Ryan Cohen acquisition. There are many things, and if they are aiming for that $100 billion price target and $100 billion market cap, we are certainly looking forward to it. One thing to note is that if GME goes to $100 billion market cap, they will be in a world of trouble if the short isn't covered by then, which would further increase the market cap for both GME and AMC. Now, regarding the GME M&A, White and KLP have worked with GameStop on several corporate concerns. Given their GME relationship, they specialize in M&A. Check out their previous deals. Now this is what we're looking at, and GME may be looking at. It's important to notice because what GME is doing now could be crucial. It could shape GME's next few years and lead to that $100 billion market cap. Therefore, we need to watch out for these things. We should consider that, and it may be worthwhile. Also, we recently examined Highcroft. In recent days, Highcroft has fallen. Already voiced my viewpoint. I stated I'm unconcerned. Even without news, Highcroft's share price drops for days. A weird place to see it fall. Silver dropped for a reason. I won't say there was no cause. Highcroft's influence isn't surprising given the silver price's drop. Did I suppose it would keep falling? No, because I anticipated the market will change for Highcroft in silver. I also knew that suppression was one of the main reasons Highcroft dropped so significantly compared to others. As previously mentioned, John Hampton, the notorious short seller, hinted at a naked short-selling attack on HYMC. This is suppressed, so we know. Today, we saw Highcroft defeat all these rumors and enemies. After today, Highcroft was up 19.48%. Again, no surprise. I know Highcroft's value. I realize its value, especially given the market. We also saw Diane saying we welcome the strong admin and XM Bank understanding key minerals are essential to American manufacturing. Talking about opportunities means talking about investments. We must remember that there are still many opportunities. People were taking profit, but banks were worried about margin calls, so they had to manipulate the price of silver. Short sellers, who were getting margin calls from Highcroft, were also having problems because money is rotating out of equities and into metals. Classic stress behavior. SPY is offered because corporations seek less risk. People buy SLV for safety. More crucially, SLV manipulation reveals what's happening. HYMC2. I'm not afraid because of this. As I said about AMC, the apes, and HYMC, I'm not afraid because we already saw a 19% increase and will continue to see it. It rose 19% despite silver and gold's significant moves. We're still seeing silver around $85 here. So much space for growth remains. Heavy leverage, margin calls, manipulation claims, rock silver spot prices. We discussed this. In recent years, many institutions have been punished for manipulating silver prices. Demand remains, therefore we must acknowledge this. We discussed how Chinese silver prices are a leading indicator for what to watch. Most significantly, demand remains. When people pay $100 for silver, we don't care what the paper says because it needs to catch up to that premium. It must reach that spot price. Gold surpasses $5,000 today. I stated we're not seeing huge moves, but gold and silver are still positive, and there's still space for growth. Like why I mentioned 19% for HYMC for the market, we'll just accept it as another day. For the next few weeks or days, you can even see how they're raising the $150 silver price target. We're not even seeing $100 silver. They're rating $150, which reveals what's going on and what they think. We discussed why individuals are frightened earlier in the video. We discussed silver, but we also looked at people's concerns about default and deferred payments. I think this is underreported since while these are for private equity, they will affect most of the market, especially given what they do. You can also see this shouldn't happen. We're staring at outrageous bond yields. US 30 years hitting 4.9. Australia 5 years up 2%, Japanese 10 years. Something we've been talking about breaking out, which will never happen in a stable economy. So we're looking at a very likely, incredibly volatile market. We may see a major downturn that leads to liquidations and margin calls. Even private lenders with $100 billion in software loans are apprehensive. If this spreads to NVIDIA, Palantir, CoreWave, and others, it could be huge. Always accept financial advice with a grain of salt. To do just tasty and research, and see you next time.